The vastness of space isn't empty. It's a silent ocean of secrets, ancient, waiting. At the edge of known space floats Helios Prime, a colony, a fortress, a promise. From orbit, it's beautiful. Emerald continents, sapphire oceans, untouched skies. But beneath the surface, steel, code, fortifications older than the colony itself. Humanity didn't build Helios just to explore. They built it to endure. And above it, the gauntlet, a ring of massive railgun platforms drifts in low orbit, each the size of a city. Their metallic hulls glint in the starlight, patient and deadly. They don't broadcast threats. They are the threat. The weapons are kinetic, simple in theory, devastating in practice. Hyper-accelerated slugs, traveling faster than thought. No plasma, no lasers, just raw, brutal physics. To outsiders, the gauntlet is a mystery. To those who know better, it's a warning. Helios Prime itself is calm. Colonists walk green parks under shielded domes. Cities hum with clean energy. Transit lines web across continents. Schools, markets, research towers, all thriving beneath silent protection. And yet, beneath the peace, there's tension, not fear, readiness. Every citizen knows their safety is earned, not through power alone, but through preparation. Humanity learned long ago, never again will they be caught off guard. Across the stars, other species watch, some curious, some cautious. They've sent envoys, received polite, distant replies. They study human transmissions, complex, encrypted, intentionally incomplete. Rumors spread that humans hide more than they show, that the railguns are just the surface, that their silence masks something deeper. So far, no one's dared test that theory. But something is coming, and beneath the sky of Helios Prime, the colony is already watching, already waiting. Far beyond Helios Prime, past its protective orbit and drifting satellites, a shadow moved. Not a comet, not debris. A ship, hidden so perfectly it bent light around itself. The Night Shroud, a stealth cruiser from the Draxi Imperium. Silent, deadly, invisible to human sensors. Its hull shimmered with biometallic skin. Its engines whispered through space-time itself. And aboard it stood Commander Vorex, tall, muscular, wrapped in obsidian black scales that caught faint starlight, eyes glowing amber, piercing, predatory. Twin ridges of bone traced from his skull down his spine, each a mark of evolution and battle. Vorex was legend, a conqueror of a dozen worlds. To some, a myth. To others, a nightmare. He stood before a pulsing organic console. Data streamed across the interface, flowing into his mind like liquid thought. His expression, contempt. Humans, he believed, were primitive. Railguns, chemical propulsion, electromagnetic weapons, crude tools, laughable compared to Draxi mastery. And yet, there were rumors that humans were unpredictable, that their strength wasn't in what they showed, but what they hid. Vorex dismissed the idea. He had shattered stronger civilizations. What could these creatures possibly do? He reached out, psychically. Invisible tendrils of thought extended from the ship, snaking toward the planet below. They passed through clouds, forests, cities, and returned with visions. Colonial outposts, mining stations, towers nestled in alien forests, vast oceans, mountains rich with resources. His focus sharpened on a main settlement, New Alexandria. To him, it looked fragile. No visible defenses, no fleets in orbit, no threats, just opportunity. He smiled, rows of sharp teeth glinting under the faint interior light. Primitive, he thought. Easy prey. A mental command left his mind like a whisper. Cloak drop pods detached from the night shroud. They fell through the atmosphere in silence, vanishing into clouds. Within minutes, they struck. 12 colonists, captured, alive, terrified. Moments later, a feed lit up Vorex's interface. The humans, bound and kneeling, eyes wide with fear. Vorex stepped into the transmission field. Let them see him, towering, alien, unstoppable. His voice echoed across Helios Prime's communication bands. Humans of Helios Prime, I am Commander Vorex of the Drexi Imperium. Your colony is now under our dominion. Surrender and you will live. Resist and your end will be remembered by the stars. He watched them flinch. The fear, delicious. But then, he felt it. Something strange. Not submission, not compliance. A flicker of defiance. And that was unexpected. Above Helios Prime, in an old orbital chamber, a meeting room stood silent. No banners, no ceremony, just reinforced walls, exposed metal beams, and a single window, staring into space. Inside stood Commander Elias Grant, not in dress uniform, not in armor. He wore worn field gear, clean, practical. A patch on his shoulder, a stylized railgun encircled by a laurel. He watched as the shuttle approached, Vorex's personal craft, cutting through the dark like a blade. Grant didn't move. He simply waited, still, measured, like a man who had already rehearsed the moment. Steam hissed. The airlock cycled open. Vorex entered, tall, imposing. Each step echoed with intent. He scanned the room, then locked eyes with Grant. You are Elias Grant. Grant nodded once. I am. Vorex tilted his head, curious. The human didn't flinch, didn't kneel, just watched. Calm. You are unusually composed, Vorex said. I prefer talking to panicking, Grant replied evenly. But I suspect that's not why you're here. A low sound rumbled from Vorex's throat. Somewhere between amusement and irritation, he circled Grant slowly, eyes never leaving him. I've seen your settlements, Vorex said. Your crude orbitals, your primitive weapons. And yet, confidence. Why? Grant didn't smile, but his voice carried weight. Because we've been underestimated before. That usually doesn't end well for the ones doing it. Vorex stopped. Something flickered behind his eyes. He stepped forward, reached one clawed hand toward Grant's temple. A psychic probe, software testing. But what it touched was not what he expected. Not a mind filled with fear. Not panic, not confusion. A wall, dense, cold, impenetrable. Worse, it pushed back. Vorex staggered slightly, brow furrowing. You resist? He asked. Not just me, Grant replied. All of us. Vorex stepped back, pacing now. We were told humans were linear, predictable. You're neither. Grant stayed still. You came here expecting a desperate colony, he said. But we've been preparing for your kind since before you even heard our name. Vorex's claws tapped against the deck. Frustration now, confusion. You hide your weapons behind silence. That's cowardice. We call it prudence, Grant said calmly. We don't fight to conquer. We fight to survive. Then Grant tapped his wrist. A soft pulse, encrypted, precise. Far below, in Helios Prime's crust, something ancient stirred. And above, on the dark side of the planet, the gauntlet began to move. Silently, systematically, targets acquired, rails charged, and Vorex had no idea what was about to begin. Beneath the mountains of Helios Prime, Buried under miles of iron-rich stone, a forgotten installation came to life. They called it Aegis Vault. Officially, a geothermal research facility. In truth, a fortress. Its corridors hummed with activity. Soldiers, engineers, strategists, all moving with the quiet precision of people trained for a moment they hoped would never come. In the main control room, hollow displays flickered. Railgun sequences, atmospheric telemetry, targeting grids. Signal verified, one officer said. Gauntlet sequence is active. From low orbit, the gauntlet began to shift. Massive magnetic platforms, realigning with glacial grace. Each platform housed a weapon larger than a star freighter. Electromagnetic rails primed with ultra-dense projectiles. Not guided missiles, not energy beams, just mass, velocity, finality. Inside the vault, Director Morgan stood at the center. Old, grizzled, one eye clouded with age, a relic from Earth's earliest defense programs. He watched the readouts with cold satisfaction. They never look past the aesthetics, he muttered. Give 'em glowing crystals, and they think our boxy junk is obsolete. A younger officer smirked nearby. Vorex won't know what hit him. Morgan didn't smile. Let's hope we don't have to show him. But this wasn't humanity's only vault. Across distant worlds, similar facilities waited, silent and ready. A network of deterrents hidden behind simplicity. Where the Draxi trusted elegance, humans trusted impact. Up in orbit, Vorex felt it, not with his eyes, with his mind. A low hum, subtle but growing, like something enormous stirring in the deep. He turned to Grant. What have you done? Grant didn't look at him. He watched the stars. You came here to make an example of us, he said, but you misread the signs. Vorex stepped forward, claws flexing. You dare. You placed a relay beacon, Grant interrupted. Hours ago, hidden, meant to summon reinforcements. Vorex froze, just for a second. Grant tapped his wrist. 3, 2, 1. From the far side of Helios Prime, a single shot screamed into space. No sound, no flare, just a bolt of tungsten, dense and fast enough to pierce planets. It hit the beacon. A distant flash lit the void. Then, nothing. The beacon was gone. Vorex stared, not in rage, in disbelief. You're isolated, Grant said softly. That's not a threat. That's a fact. Inside the orbital chamber, a long silence stretched. Vorex stepped back from the table, claws flexing slowly. His muscles tensed, no longer in command, no longer sure. His relay beacon was gone, destroyed, silently, precisely. You've just condemned yourselves, he growled. But there was hesitation now, a crack in his voice. Grant didn't move. No one's coming, he said. Your signal is dust, your ship's exposed, and while we speak, our sky is learning your vessel. Far above, in orbit, the night shroud shuddered. Inside, Draxi crew scrambled. Warning glyphs lit up, dozens at once. Cloaking fields flickered, then collapsed. Their stealth gone. Outside, the sleek hull of the cruiser flickered into visibility. For the first time, it stood outlined against the stars, vulnerable. The gauntlet had fired again, a near miss by design. Close enough to fry systems. Deliberate, controlled, terrifying. In the chamber, Vorex's wrist console blinked with alerts. He didn't answer. He looked at Grant. Really looked. You wanted to show us your strength, Grant said quietly. But you came blind. You mistook silence for weakness. Vorex turned away, stared through the viewport. Then, once more, reached out with his mind, this time deeper, past the surface, past the towers and streets. He found layers, underground bunkers, command nodes masked by geothermal shielding, civilian shelters woven into hardened mountains, entire systems designed not for war, but for surviving war. He pulled back, eyes wider now. This wasn't a colony. This was a crucible. You can't stop what's coming, Vorax muttered. We are Legion. The Imperium will respond. Grant didn't blink. And yet, he said, you're alone in our orbit, cut off, and 2 minutes away from losing your ship. Another railgun fired. This one didn't miss. A clean puncture tore through the night shroud's flank. No explosion, just precision. Atmosphere vented, systems collapsed. The ship reeled, crippled, but intact. It was a warning. Back in the chamber, Grant spoke again. Tell me something, Commander. If we're so primitive, why haven't you struck yet? Vorax stood silent. His pride warred with a new feeling, one he hadn't tasted in decades. Doubt. He had faced empires, crushed fleets. But this had been designed. Every moment, every silence. A trap. Perhaps, he said slowly, our intelligence was incomplete. Grant gave a single slight nod. We get that a lot.